Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Woohoon. God level selection for instant upgrades. Chapter 81. What a good sleep. Qi Ling stretched out in the medicinal bath and woke up. Practicing hard day and night not only did not make Qi Ling feel mentally exhausted, but instead restored her to her best condition. However, after not eating for a whole day and night, Qi Ling only felt empty in his stomach. If he didn't eat again, he might faint from hunger. After packing up, Qi Ling opened the door and planned to go to the college cafeteria to have breakfast. But when he opened the door, he saw Zhu Zuqing sitting in front of the door, seemingly practicing. "Zuqing, why are you here?" Qi Ling asked in surprise. "I said that I would come to see you at night, so I woke up from a coma yesterday and came to see you." Zhu Zuqing said, "It's just that your door is locked. I know that if everything is okay, you or I don't know how to lock the door, so I'll wait for you here." "Then you waited all night?" Qi Ling asked in surprise. Seeing Zhu Zuqing gently nodding his head, Qi Ling didn't know what to say. This girl was so stubborn and frightening. It seemed that no one could change what she believed. "It's not just for cultivation. I came here for another reason. I want to thank you in person." Zhu Zuqing said, "I know everything about yesterday. After I fainted, you were the one who carried me all the way back. I just wanted to thank you for this." It's a trivial matter, we are companions," Qi Ling said. "Then, there is one more thing," Zhu Zuqing continued. "Can I come and continue practicing tonight?" "Oh, I'm afraid of you. If you come back tonight, I will definitely practice with you," Qi Ling said helplessly. A rare smile appeared on Zhu Zuqing's cold face. "Okay." Then the two of them went to the canteen together and met everyone gathered in the canteen. After yesterday's baptism, not only did everyone's spirits change, but their relationship with each other also improved. When everyone finished breakfast and rushed to the playground, Yu Xiaogang was already waiting for them there. Except for Qi Ling, everyone was a little nervous, wondering how the master would evaluate them. "What you did yesterday was very good. The most important thing is that no one of you is left behind. Even if there are companions who can't keep up, you still try your best to help each other and come back," Yu Xiaogang said, this, more important than anything else. Everyone felt happy when they heard the master praising themselves, but they all knew that if it weren't for Qi Ling, they wouldn't have been able to complete this arduous task. Thinking of Qi Ling carrying 1,000 kilograms of weight and carrying Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zuqing step by step, everyone's hearts felt hot. Qi Ling was indeed their boss. "After this, I will conduct special training for you for 3 months. You must be mentally prepared," Yu Xiaogang said. "If there are people who don't want to participate, then come forward now. I don't want anyone to disobey orders and affect everyone's training." Naturally, no one came forward. The master said with satisfaction, "Very good, now the first thing, go to Soto City again and run back and forth. This time, I allow you to use soul power." Looking at the backs of everyone running out together, Yu Xiaogang clearly felt that they were different from before. Now they were a whole. And Qi Ling, who is running at the front, is their leader. At this time, all Yu Xiaogang could think of was the words, "Heaven's proud one." He really wanted to see what the future of these geniuses would be like. Master Yu Xiaogang's training officially began on this day, and everyone in Shrek began to understand the meaning of the devil. However, besides the master, there is another person who scares them even more, and that is Qi Ling. If the master is the devil, then Qi Ling is undoubtedly the devil of the abyss. Every time the master asked Qi Ling to train them alone, they would end up lying in the medical room, and no one would be spared. In addition, the master would let them practice with Qi Ling every day, saying that it would enhance their fighting will, but what everyone felt from Qi Ling was only deep despair. No matter what method he uses or what conditions he sets, Qi Ling seems to be the invincible god of war, and his weaknesses can't be found at all. But everyone had to admit that in the process of fighting Qi Ling, they also made rapid progress. "After all, I was forced into a desperate situation every day, and it was difficult not to make progress." After each day's training, Zhu Zuqing would go to Qi Ling for special training at night, rain or shine. It is precisely because of her perseverance that she has made rapid progress. She has quickly mastered 9 Nether Sacred Heart Art, and Xuanming Divine Palm, which made Qi Ling praise and marvel. However, after training, Qi Ling made a request to Zhu Zuqing, asking her to ensure at least 5 hours of sleep every day to achieve the purpose of rest. Why, I don't have that much time to sleep, Zhu Zuqing said in confusion. It seemed that for her, she wanted to spend 24 hours a day practicing. If it is too strong, it will be easy to break. Zuqing, I should have told you this truth. Resting is for better progress. Qi Ling said, what's more, who said you can't practice while sleeping? At that moment, Qi Ling taught Zhu Zuqing how to practice soul power while sleeping. In this way, firstly, the body could be fully rested, and secondly, time would not be wasted. But why does it sound so awkward to teach girls how to sleep? 3 months of hard training passed in the blink of an eye. In these 3 months, everyone has made great progress and changed tremendously. During this period, Ma Hongjun and Ning Rongrong's soul power increased by 1 level, and everyone else also improved, especially in terms of physical fitness, which had undergone earth-shaking changes. Now everyone can cross country with heavy loads as easily as before. Tang San and Dai Mubai can even increase the weight to 100 kilograms. Even Ning Rongrong and Oscar can bear 30 kilograms of weight. But the person who has made the most progress among everyone is Zhu Zuqing. As an agility and attack type soul master, not only can she bear 80 kilograms of weight, but her soul power has increased by 2 levels, reaching level 29. What's more important is that Zhu Zuqing has completed the first level of the 9 Nether Sacred Heart technique, and has even shown signs of breaking through to the 2nd level. The Xuanming Divine Palm has also been practiced with great enthusiasm. Although she has not yet broken through to the realm of Soul Master, Qi Ling believes that no Soul Master can underestimate her. And everyone's 3-month devil training finally ended yesterday. Master Yu Shaogang gave them an unprecedented 7 days of leave to adjust their condition. Finally got a chance to rest, and everyone started busy with their own things. Ma Hongjun hurried straight to the Red Mansion district, Xiaowu and Ning Rongrong went shopping in the city, Oscar and Dai Mubai didn't know what they were doing in the city. Tang San was obsessed with his hidden weapons, assembling them in his warehouse. Zhu Zuqing came to Qi Ling, and Qi Ling said to him with a smile, "Are you ready? Today is a great day for your revenge." Zhu Zuqing nodded silently, looking high-spirited. Today was the day she had a fight with Zhao Lei. She wanted to see if she had made any progress in the past 3 months. Although in these 3 months, Zhu Zuqing was undoubtedly the most able to endure hardships and his progress was astonishing. If these cannot be tested in actual combat, then they will be just words on paper after all. So Qi Ling took Zhu Zuqing to the Great Soul Fighting Arena in Soto City and registered for a duel. His opponent was Zhao Lei of Silver Soul Fighting. When he saw Qi Ling reappearing, Zhao Lei was so moved that he wanted to cry. He said to Qi Ling with a bitter look on his face, "Boss, after this fight, can you let me go? I promise not to hurt you again. People, don't worry, this is the last time. As long as you compete seriously, no matter you win or lose, I will never deal with you again," Qi Ling said. In addition, if you can defeat Zhu Zuqing, in order to make up for your losses during this period, I will give you an additional spiritual elixir and a soul guide. Are you satisfied enough? These 2 things are undoubtedly priceless treasures. Zhao Lei nodded happily and said, "Satisfied, thank you for the generous gift, boss." "Hey, you haven't fought Zhu Zuqing yet, are you so confident that you can win?" Qi Ling said, "Zhu Qing has made great progress in the past 3 months. This time I came to you specifically for revenge." Zhao Lei said disdainfully, "How strong can she become in just 3 months? It is simply impossible to win against me." "Zuqing, he said that, what do you think?" Qi Ling said to Zhu Zuqing beside him. Zhu Zuqing didn't say anything and walked directly to the preparation area. This silent action was undoubtedly her best attitude. Zhao Lei also walked to the war preparation area and said to Qi Ling, "Boss Qi, don't worry, I won't be cruel. Take care of yourself." Qi Ling said helplessly, "Let me remind you, Zhu Qing and he were completely different from 3 months ago. If you are so careless, you will suffer a loss." Although Zhao Lei was reminded by Qi Ling, he still looked disapproving. If he could surpass him in 3 months, wouldn't all Zhao Lei's efforts have been in vain? "I know you don't believe it, but you just need to know one thing," Qi Ling said with a smile. "In addition to studying in the academy during this period, she has been studying more with me. When Zhao Lei heard this, his eyes became serious. He knew very well how capable Qi Ling was. Since he was so confident, could Zhu Zuqing really be any different? It didn't take long for the match between the two to be broadcast. After each took the stage and the referee announced the start of the game, the two immediately entered a fighting stance. The fighting method that Zhao Lei is good at is very simple and effective, that is, relying on his body skills and speed to get close to his opponent, and then using his bloody handprint to achieve the final blow with one blow. Although this can solve the battle quickly, it also has a fatal flaw, that is, if the opponent breaks his blood handprint, Zhao Lei has no chance of winning. As for how to break the blood handprint, there are many ways. Direct absorption like Qi Ling's method is undoubtedly the most domineering, but not everyone has a martial spirit as unreasonable as his. So, what kind of method to use to deal with Zhao Lei is what Zhu Zuqing wants to consider. In the end, her conclusion is speed. Zhu Zuqing's nether civet spirit is one of the top agility spirits. There is no reason why it should lose to Zhao Lei in terms of speed. Coupled with the 9 Nether Sacred Heart technique she has practiced during this period, she has trained her speed to the extreme. Even if she does not have an advantage in soul skills, she can still leave Zhao Lei far behind. Are you ready, little cat? Zhao Lei faced Zhu Zuqing and moved his body. I'm going to. Ahem. Qi Ling's voice came. I don't like your title, give me another one. Zhao Lei. No problem, Boss Qi, whatever you say is what it is. Zhao Lei. Are you ready, Boss Qi's kitty? If you are, I'm about to start. Zhu Zuqing looked at Zhao Lei opposite him speechlessly and said, let's go. Hey, I'm sorry, then I will end the battle in an instant. Zhao Lei said, his body instantly activated and rushed towards Zhu Zuqing. In the past 3 months, Zhao Lei's soul power had not made any progress, but this gave him the opportunity to accumulate his own skills. At this time, his pace was more steady and his speed was faster. Zhao Lei originally thought that since he had made progress in the past 3 months, wouldn't he be able to deal with Zhu Zuqing, who was already inferior to him. I'm afraid that one face-to-face meeting will end this duel. But what he never expected was that when he rushed in front of Zhu Zuqing, she suddenly disappeared. What? How is it possible? Zhao Lei was shocked and looked around hurriedly. Could it be that this Zhu Zuqing actually learned how to teleport? Where are you looking? Zhu Zuqing's voice came from behind Zhao Lei. She didn't know when she had arrived behind Zhao Lei. Wah, what? Zhao Lei was shocked and turned around to face Zhu Zuqing and said, how did you get behind me? Can you teleport? How do I get around you? Zhu Zuqing seemed unable to understand his question. That's it, come over here. As he spoke, Zhu Zuqing's figure moved again, and Zhao Lei was surprised to find that it was not that she could teleport, but that her speed was too fast and his eyes could not keep up. In just 3 months, Zhu Zuqing's speed was already so fast that he couldn't keep up. What kind of terrible progress was this? It is not an exaggeration to say that it has been completely transformed. At this time, Zhu Zuqing was also as excited as a stormy sea. He finally proved to Zhao Lei that he had indeed become stronger, and not just a little stronger, but a complete qualitative change. These 3 months of hard training have not been in vain. His current speed has rarely been matched by soul masters at the same level. Even at the soul master level, there are very few who can keep up with him. Zhu Zuqing's eyes couldn't help but drift to Qi Ling in the audience. When he saw his confident eyes, looking at him fiercely, he couldn't help but feel hot in his heart. In these 3 months of training, Yu Xiaoging's contribution was certainly attributable, but Zhu Zuqing knew that it was Qi Ling's training that really changed his quality. He truly fulfilled his promise and made himself stronger. Damn it, I don't believe it. How could you become so strong in just 3 months? Zhao Lei said in disbelief. You know, in order to achieve such speed, he has been practicing hard day and night for 13 years. Now someone has surpassed him in 3 months. How can he not collapse? But whether Zhao Leixiang believed it or not, it was an indisputable fact that Zhu Zuqing was much faster than him. And this also meant that Zhao Lei's bloody handprints that he was proud of had no room to use at all, because he couldn't even grasp the corners of Zhu Zuqing's clothes. Damn it, I don't believe it. Blood handprint. Zhao Lei reluctantly used the blood handprint towards Zhu Zuqing, but she dodged it unsurprisingly. After easily dodging Zhao Lei's attack, Zhu Zuqing casually hit Zhao Lei in the chest with a claw, knocking him back a few steps. Zhao Lei covered his chest and stretched out his hand to see that there was blood seeping out of the wound. This was the first time he was injured in the fight with Zhu Zuqing. Damn it! Bloody handprint. Motivated by the pain, Zhao Lei attacked Zhu Zuqing even more crazily. But this time, Zhu Zuqing did not dodge like before, but stretched out his palm. There was a faint gathering of soul power in the palm, and a green light emerged. Zhao Lei couldn't help but feel secretly happy when he saw that Zhu Zuqing actually gave up his speed advantage and chose to confront him head-on. He was at a disadvantage because he couldn't hit Zhu Zuqing. Now that she actually came to her door, of course he had to seize the opportunity and teach her a lesson. After all, no one except Qi Ling can bear his bloody handprint so far. And Zhu Zuqing will definitely be seriously injured under his own palm like before, allowing himself to win. Zhao Lei's idea was wonderful, but unfortunately, things did not go as he wished. The moment he came into contact with Zhu Zuqing's palm, Zhao Lei felt something was wrong. There was actually a very overbearing cold air hovering over Zhu Zuqing's palm, which was instantly heard when touched. This strange chill is naturally the power of the Xuanming Divine Palm, mastered by Zhu Zuqing. It is not simply cold, but a force created by soul power. While it causes harm to people, it also makes people feel cold. Just like Zhao Lei's blood handprint, after hitting it, it will make people feel as hot as if it is on fire, but in fact, his blood handprint itself has no temperature at all. The same was true for Zhu Zuqing's Xuanming Divine Palm, which itself did not lower the temperature by 1 degree. The palms of the two hit each other, and Zhao Lei was surprised to find that their soul powers seemed to be offset by each other. Neither party caused any harm to the other, and his bloody handprint was ineffective again. After Zhu Zuqing returned, he looked at his palms and fell into deep thought. The fact that he was able to neutralize Zhao Lei's attack undoubtedly showed that the Xuanming Divine Palm was indeed extremely powerful. He had only mastered 1 or 2 levels, and he could already compare with Zhao Lei's blood handprint. But this is undoubtedly a huge blow to Zhao Lei. If Zhu Zuqing's speed catching up with her is just an accident, then her ability to resist the power of the blood handprint is a crushing blow to her self-confidence. This is impossible. How can you block my bloody handprint? This is not only the first time Zhao Lei has said it is impossible, it seems that since the battle with Zhu Zuqing, the most important thing he has done is to keep shock. But Zhu Zuqing obviously didn't want to talk too much with Zhao Lei. This man almost killed him. Most of his motivation for practicing hard in the past 3 months was to defeat him. HMPH. Don't think that I will be afraid of you. If you have the ability, come and see who of us is more capable. Zhao Lei said as his bloody handprints flew out and smacked towards Zhu Zuqing. Zhu Zuqing kept moving quickly and slapped Zhao Lei. But just when Zhao Lei thought that Zhu Zuqing would compete with her like before, her body suddenly drew a line. The strange arc evaded his attack by a hair's breadth. Immediately afterwards, Zhu Zuqing's palm accurately hit Zhao Lei's ribs, which was the same spot where he had attacked him before. Ah! Zhao Lei cried out in pain, clutching his ribs and feeling Zhu Zuqing's soul power invade his body, as if it was about to freeze. Zhu Zuqing naturally knew that if he competed for soul power, he would definitely not be Zhao Lei's opponent. After all, his soul power was still 1 level behind his opponent's. If you keep fighting with him head-on, you will undoubtedly play into Zhao Lei's hands, and you will definitely lose in the end, and Zhu Zuqing will be giving up his biggest advantage, speed. Therefore, after Zhu Zuqing confirmed the power of Xuanming Divine Palm, he had already decided on the direction of the battle, which was to avoid Zhao Lei's attack and give him a fatal blow. Feeling the injuries spreading in his body, Zhao Lei could only slowly fall down even though he didn't want to admit defeat. Player Zhao Lei has lost the ability to fight. The referee said at this time, player Zhu Zuqing wins this competition. Seeing this scene, the audience burst into enthusiastic cheers, applauding Zhu Zuqing's strength. Among them, many male viewers boldly expressed their love for Zhu Zuqing. After all, who wouldn't love such a beautiful and powerful beauty? But Zhu Zuqing didn't show any joy about this. She walked straight down from the ring and came to Qi Ling. Qi Ling, thank you. Qi Ling naturally knew what Zhu Zuqing meant. Zhu Zuqing had been waiting for this victory for 3 months. Without Qi Ling, he would never have been able to defeat Zhao Lei. So Qi Ling accepted Zhu Zuqing's gratitude calmly and joked, "Is it just words? Alas, there is no kiss or anything. It's really disappointing." Zhu Zuqing's face turned red for a rare moment, and he actually stood up on tiptoes, kissed Qi Ling on the face, and then quickly turned away, as if nothing happened. But for the audience in the auditorium, this could not be treated as if they had not seen anything. Immediately, the audience shouted angrily, as if they wanted to give Qi Ling a good look. Qi Ling smiled slightly. If he was afraid at this time, he would not even be worthy of being a man. He took a step forward, and the divine dragon emperor instantly possessed him. He opened his mouth and let out a melodious dragon roar. The sound soared into the sky and spread throughout the great soul fighting arena. All the clamoring voices immediately disappeared without a trace under Qi Ling's domineering roar. People are like sheep after seeing a lion, they can only tremble from the bottom of their hearts and dare not look at it. Qi Ling looked around at everyone present and said with a smile, "If you are dissatisfied, I'm always here for you." The result was natural. No one dared to stand up and say a word, and the audience was not stupid. They just followed the trend and said a few words when they were cheering. If you really want to stand out, don't you think you have a long life? Besides, this Qi Ling is not easy to mess with at first glance. He might be a powerful soul master. He is just a common person, so he has no chance to show off his power. And looking at it this way, he and Zhu Zuqing are really a perfect match for each other. It is true that a hero comes from a young man, and a talented man matches a beautiful woman. Now that Zhu Zuqing has won the victory, the two of them will naturally leave the great soul fighting arena to enjoy their own vacation. But just as the two were about to set off, Qi Ling suddenly slapped himself on the head and said, "I almost forgot one thing, Zuqing, please go outside and wait for me. I'll find someone and I'll be back soon." The person Qi Ling wants to find is naturally Zhao Lei. This kid has now received the punishment he deserves, but he can't keep his word. Of course, he still has to detoxify him. When Qi Ling found Zhao Lei in the great soul fighting arena, Zhao Lei hugged Qi Ling's thigh as if he had seen his savior and said, "Boss Qi, you have come to see me, help me." Zhu Zuqing's soul power invaded Zhao Lei's body before, causing Zhao Lei to be seriously injured. It was not expelled from the body over time, but continued to destroy his body. That weird soul power gave full play to Zhu Zuqing's own characteristics. Relying on its own penetrating power, it seemed to penetrate into Zhao Lei's bone marrow. If Zhao Lei hadn't relied on his own soul power to suppress him, he might have died long ago. Of course he knew that Zhu Zuqing's weird kung fu was taught by Qi Ling, so Qi Ling must have a way to save him, so when he saw Qi Ling at this moment, he immediately begged. Qi Ling said helplessly, I hope you can learn from this lesson and be a good person in the future." Then Qi Ling used his true dragon energy to remove Zhu Zuqing's soul power for Zhao Lei, and detoxified him from the previous poison. Although Zhu Zuqing's soul power characteristics are indeed difficult to deal with, he is still insignificant in the face of Qi Ling's true dragon energy. Just when Qi Ling finished detoxifying and was about to leave, Zhao Lei suddenly made a plop and knelt down in front of Qi Ling. He put his head on the floor and bowed. "Boss Qi, please accept me as your younger brother. From now on, I will go through fire and water without hesitation. Please give me a chance." Qi Ling was shocked when Zhao Lei knelt down. Accept him as his younger brother. Didn't you prepare yourself mentally for such a sudden thing? Zhao Lei, why do you want to be my younger brother? Qi Ling asked curiously. Speaking of it, you were indirectly defeated by me, not to mention that you suffered a lot in the past 3 months because of me. Why are you still following me? Zhao Lei raised his head and said with extremely sincere eyes, Boss Qi, I know that you are an expert and have true knowledge, so I won't talk to you about your empty gains. I want to follow you because you will definitely be a dragon or a phoenix among people in the future. Follow you, great things can happen. And, more importantly, it only took you 3 months to turn Zhu Zuqing into such a powerful master, which shows how smart you are. If I follow you, I will definitely find a clear path. Zhao Lei was honest. There were only 2 reasons for following him. One was to have a future, and the other was to make progress. It was a great opportunity. If he missed the village of Keeling, he might not have the next store. For Qi Ling, although Zhao Lei's strength is not particularly outstanding, he has been trained by himself and is enough to become a first-class master, and he will definitely be his helper in the future. What to do? To accept or not to accept? Just when Qi Ling was hesitating, the system suddenly gave him a task. Ding dong. It is detected that the host is facing Zhao Lei's request. Please choose from the following options. Option 1. Reject Zhao Lei and accept him as his younger brother, and get rewards, a 10-year soul ring, 100 gold soul coins, and a hemostatic grass. Option 2. Agree to Zhao Lei's request, accept him as your younger brother, and provide guidance to him, and receive rewards. Zhao Lei's training system is activated, and the host's power value +1. When the power value reaches 10, the host can establish his own primary power. Power value. Seeing this new value, Qi Ling felt confused. Could it be that after developing the game, he would start a strategy game? From this point of view, this power value is still a very important thing. After all, the power that has passed the system certification will definitely be different from the power that you casually establish, and you can get quite a lot of benefits. And more importantly, since Zhao Lei can activate the training system and sign a contract, he is not afraid that he will betray him, because if he does, all the power given to him by the system will be taken back. In other words, accepting Zhao Lei as his younger brother not only has no disadvantages at all, but also has no risks at all, so why wouldn't he do it? Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for choosing option 2, accepting Zhao Lei as his younger brother, and receiving rewards. Zhao Lei's training system is activated, and the host's power value +1. Zhao Lei, before I decide whether to agree to you, I want to ask you a question. Qi Ling said to Zhao Lei, what do you think is the most important thing about being a person's little brother? Zhao Lei said without even thinking, it's loyalty. Only those who are loyal to themselves are valuable people. Yes, Qi Ling nodded, you are right, but do you know how to maintain the loyalty of your subordinates? Zhao Lei shook his head. He really didn't know this at all. It's very simple. To be a qualified boss, there are many things to do, but the most important thing is to ensure that you are better than others. Qi Ling said. I will always maintain that I am stronger than any of you, so, Zhao Lei, you don't need to worry about your loyalty. Although Zhao Lei heard it half-heartedly, he understood one thing, that is, Qi Ling was willing to accept him as his younger brother. He couldn't help but be overjoyed and said quickly, yes, Boss Qi. If you ask me to go east in the future, I will never go east. Qi, everything is up to you. Qi Ling nodded and said, since you have become my little brother, I will give you some guidance. Show me your blood handprint cultivation method and process, so that I can prescribe the right medicine and tell you how to improve. Zhao Lei did not hesitate and directly demonstrated the process of practicing the blood handprint. However, Qi Ling frowned after reading it. Boss, what's wrong? Is there anything wrong with my cultivation process? Zhao Lei said in fear. This is a big problem. Qi Ling said, Zhao Lei, do you know that if you continue to practice like this, you will only have 3 years to live at most? Zhao Lei was stunned and said in disbelief, what? Boss Qi, are you kidding me? Do you think I'm joking? Qi Ling said helplessly, the blood handprint you practice is an extremely sinister kung fu. I thought it relied on foreign objects to practice, but I didn't expect that it relied on yes, it's you. Me. Zhao Lei pointed at himself and asked in confusion. That's right, when you practice this blood hand seal, you are overdrawing your own life, so you can gain such power. Qi Ling said. If you don't believe it, do you often feel dry in the mouth but can't drink water? Do you often feel a dull pain in your abdomen, as if something is burning? Do you sometimes have trouble sleeping all night, and sometimes you can't wake up? Qi Ling talked about several situations in a row. Every time he mentioned one more, Zhao Lei's face turned pale, because these were basically his own true situations. Boss Qi, you must save me. I don't want to die yet. Zhao Lei said in a broken voice. Get up, since I will tell you, I will naturally find a way to deal with you. Qi Ling said to Zhao Lei, although this bloody handprint is extremely sinister, fortunately you are still one step away from getting yourself involved. If you wait until you break through level 30 and reach the Soul Master realm, you will definitely break through the blood handprint realm at the same time. At that time, you will be exhausted and there will be no hope for you. After hearing this, Zhao Lei suddenly felt a cold sweat. He had been arrogant and happy for so many years with the help of the power of the blood handprint, but he did not expect that it would be at the cost of his own life. And then he thought that Zhu Zuqing's Xuanming divine palm was as powerful as his own bloody handprint, and she was obviously younger than him. Qi Ling will definitely not harm Zhu Zuqing to make her stronger. From this point of view, since Zhu Zuqing can become stronger, she might also be safe. Boss Qi, is there any way you can save me? Zhao Lei said hopefully. Qi Ling casually took out a secret book from behind him. Zhao Lei looked at the 3 big characters, 7 injury fist, on it and wondered what his intention was. When you practice this blood hand seal, you first hurt yourself, and then hurt others. Now if you are asked to change your skills, it will be equivalent to abolishing all your cultivation and making you immortal. Are you willing? Qi Ling asked. From a master to a mere mortal, even if it is to save his life, this is unacceptable, and Zhao Lei is naturally unwilling. So I teach you this, 7 injury fist. It is similar to the cultivation method of blood handprint, but it is a famous method and will not damage your foundation. Qi Ling said, taking out another secret book. At the same time, if you practice this, Hunyuan Gong, assiduously, you can resolve the negative effects caused by the 7 injury fist, while at the same time strengthening your foundation and improving your physique. When you have reached the 2nd level of Hunyuan Gong and the 7 injury fist has gained 2 or 3 points of strength, you will be able to regain your current strength, but how long it will take depends on your understanding. Zhao Lei looked at the 2 secret books in his hands, and the gratitude in his heart was beyond words. This was the first time he felt the care of others, which gave him a feeling of belonging. Boss Qi, thank you for saving my life. I, Zhao Lei, swear to God that I will be loyal to you in this life. If you betray me, you will not die. Zhao Lei said solemnly. Okay, as long as you have the heart. Qi Ling waved his hand and said, with your age, you can be considered a genius. You'd better find an academy and study hard. Then Qi Ling turned around and left here without staying any longer. He believed that his ability to see people would definitely help Zhao Lei in the future. Arriving outside the Great Soul Fighting Arena, Zhu Zuqing was still waiting for her, but besides her, there was a tall man surrounding her. How about it, beauty, come and have a meal with me to show your face. A beauty like you, with such strength, should be worthy of a hero like me. The man said eagerly. His eyes kept scanning Zhu Zuqing's body, as if he wanted to eat her up. Zhu Zuqing had always been too lazy to pay attention to such people, so he just kept a cold expression and remained silent. But who knew that Zhu Zuqing's appearance actually made the man think that he had a chance, so he became even more attentive. Ha ha ha, beauty, don't be shy. In this big spirit fighting arena, who doesn't know my name, Jin He? I promise I won't treat you badly. The man named Jin He said, getting closer to Zhu Zuqing, not wanting to. The kind eyes became more and more intense. Besides, my skills in that area are even stronger. I guarantee that you will be so excited that you will never forget me. This was tantamount to a direct insult. What Zhu Zuqing hated the most was when someone insulted him like this. He couldn't help but coldly said, go away. Ha, the little girl is quite temperamental, but it doesn't matter. This is the kind of woman I like best. That's how delicious she is. Jin He said with a laugh. If you don't get out, you will definitely die in an ugly way. Zhu Zuqing said. Ah, ha ha ha, who dares to go against me, Jin He, in this big soul fighting arena? I am one of the only 2 golden fighting souls in the Soul Master realm. Jin He said arrogantly. Hearing that Jin He was actually a gold fighting spirit, Zhu Zuqing couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Unlike the silver fighting spirit that could be accumulated over time, the gold fighting spirit actually had to rely on strength to win consecutively in order to become one so quickly. This undoubtedly shows that, at least at the Soul Master level, Jin He already represents the highest strength in the Great Soul Fighting Arena, and in a place where fighting is a living thing, it also shows that Jin He is extraordinary in strength. But based on his calculations, Zhu Zuqing would never bow to a scumbag. Even if the person standing in front of him was a titled Duluo who dared to insult him like this, Zhu Zuqing would still attack him. So Zhu Zuqing didn't hesitate anymore. Zanming Divine Palm took action, and the palm glowing with cyan light covered Jin He's chest, intending to give him a fatal blow. But what Zhu Zuqing didn't expect was that there was a flash of golden light on Jinhee's body, and there was no reaction at all when he hit him with his palm. Hey, is this what you're good at? Giving me a massage is more than enough, Jinhee said, reaching out to grab Zhu Zuqing's hand. Zhu Zuqing hurriedly jumped back and got out of Jinhee's attack range. Ha ha ha, little beauty, don't run away, come play with me, Jinhee said, his body muscles tensed, and he was about to pounce on Zhu Zuqing and catch Zhu Zuqing in his hand. But at this moment, Jinhee's movements suddenly stopped. His muscles all over his body were tense, not daring to relax at all, and his face changed into a look of horror. Because in Jinhee's instinct, he seemed to be stared at by a very huge and terrifying existence. It seemed as if there was a huge shadow appearing behind him. As long as he made the slightest move, he would be killed immediately. Different place. At this time, it belongs to a warrior who has experienced many battles. His most instinctive intuition is just like the instinct of wild animals. Although Jinhee is rude, he is by no means an incompetent person to be able to become Jin Duhun. In his own perception, that terrifying existence is getting closer and closer to him, and every time he gets closer to himself, the pressure he feels will be greater. Cold sweat oozed from Jinhee's forehead. He didn't know what kind of existence he had provoked. Could it be that this little beauty was the forbidden love of some master? Thinking of this, Jinhee couldn't help but regret. His mouth had already caused him a lot of trouble. Why didn't he learn his lesson? When that being came to his side, Jinhee's muscles instantly tensed to the maximum, preparing for a fatal attack. But nothing happened next, except for a handsome boy who didn't look like a human man, walking past him easily. And strangely enough, after this young man walked over, all the pressure Jinhee felt suddenly disappeared. Jinhee looked at Qiling in surprise. Could it be him? But this is impossible. How old is he? How could he unleash such a terrifying momentum? It's been a long wait, it's okay now, Qiling said to Zhu Zuqing. Okay, let's go now. Hey, stop, Jinhee said loudly at this moment. I've fallen in love with this girl, why don't you stay cool? The other party is just a half-grown child, how could he be a threat to himself? So Jinhee immediately comforted himself that he must be neurotic and delusional. And if that's the case, then there's no reason for him to let them leave. On the contrary, I have to embarrass this boy well so that the little beauty knows that only I am the most suitable for her. Qiling turned around helplessly and looked at Jinhee. She had already given him a chance, but he didn't cherish it and insisted on committing suicide. Even if the King of Heaven came, he wouldn't be able to save him. Your name is Jinhee. Are you Jin Fighting Soul from the Great Fighting Soul Arena? Qiling asked casually. HMPH, you're afraid, kid. It's okay if you know you're afraid, why don't you get out of my way quickly? Be careful, uncle, I'm in a bad mood, I'll just let you lie in bed for a few months, Jinhee said arrogantly. PFF'd, Qiling couldn't help laughing. Let me lie down for a few months. If you can really do it, then I'm really looking forward to it. You kid, how dare you look down on me? Look at me. Jinhee was about to take action, but was interrupted by Qiling again. Are you a player in the Great Soul Fighting Arena? Then you should know the rules. Private fights are not allowed between players. Qiling said, if you really want to fight, wait for me at the Great Soul Fighting Arena in a week. Jinhee was stunned. Since Qiling brought this matter out, he really couldn't ignore it. After all, he was eating in the Great Soul Fighting Arena. If someone really reported him and lost his job, it would be really hard. Okay, then I'll wait for you at the Great Soul Fighting Arena, and I'll wait for you to come in a week, Jinhee said viciously. I hope you can act like a man and don't break the appointment then. Don't worry, I will be there on time, Qiling said, and left here with Zhu Zuqing. Although Jinhee gritted his teeth, he could only comfort himself. After Qiling was dealt with, Zhu Zuqing would not be able to escape from his grasp. Walking on the road, Qiling said to Zhu Zuqing. Zuqing, I know what you are thinking, but this Jinhee is different from Zhao Lei. Their levels are too different. As you are now, you are not a match for him, but I can't let him be arrogant for too long, so I have no choice but to take action. Zhu Zuqing was silent after hearing this. After a while, he asked Qiling, how long will it take for me to beat him? It's difficult. This Jinhee is not a weak hand. Even in the Soul Master realm, He is a rare master. Otherwise, there would not be only 2 Soul Master Jin fighting souls in the Great Soul Fighting Arena. Qi Ling said. But Qi Ling, I want to defeat him. Zhu Zuqing said. So, you should understand what I mean, right? Qi Ling looked at Zhu Zuqing and found that the latter was looking at him with an expectant look. He had experienced this kind of look from Zhu Zuqing many times. Oh, really? Okay, I really can't do anything to you. Qi Ling said helplessly, the old rule is, beat him, but you can't cripple him, right? Zhu Zuqing nodded, and then said, in 1 month, can I defeat him? A month, Qi Ling was thinking, but suddenly remembered something. In 1 month, if you can break through to level 30 and become a soul master, maybe I really have a way for you to defeat this Jin He. Really? Zhu Zuqing said in disbelief. Of course she also knew that Jin He was difficult to deal with, so she tentatively asked Qi Ling. She didn't expect that Qi Ling actually had a solution. You must know that Jin He can dominate the Soul Master realm, which means that his soul power is at least 38 or 9 levels. Even if he breaks through to the Soul Master realm, he will only be a 31st level Soul Master. They are also Soul Masters. The 7-level soul power gap is enough to make many people despair, not to mention that the other party is still a good player. I wonder what magical means Qi Ling can use to win this time. Regarding Zhu Zuqing's question, Qi Ling just dismissed it and said, Shanren has his own clever plan. What Zuqing has to do is to break through to level 30. You will naturally know the rest when the time comes. The 2 of them walked towards the academy as they talked, but they didn't walk very long when they saw Tang San and the others walking over menacingly, as if they were looking for trouble with someone. What's wrong, Shaosan, where are you going? Who are you fighting with? Qi Ling stopped them and asked. Brother, why are you here? And Zhu Zuqing. Tang San was startled when he saw Qi Ling. Nothing, just helping Zuqing a little. What are you going to do then? Ma Hongjun on the side suddenly rushed over and said miserably to Qi Ling, Boss Qi, you must make the decision for me. Qi Ling turned around and looked at Ma Hongjun, and was immediately startled. He was already fat enough, but now his head was swollen like a pig's head. What's going on? Who dares to bully our people? Qi Ling asked. Boss Qi, you don't know, I was bullied. At that moment, Ma Hongjun said that he failed to recruit a prostitute and was beaten up by a man named Bi Yula. Is there still such a thing? Let's go, I'll avenge you. Qi Ling said immediately, no matter what, you can't let others bully your own people. I'm not going. If you want to go, just go by yourself. Zhu Zuqing said, and went back to the academy alone. After all, what Ma Hongjun did was what she hated the most. Moreover, having Qi Ling here is enough to avenge Ma Hongjun, so there is no point in Zhu Zuqing staying. Xiao Wu on the side suddenly jumped out and said, Brother Qi, you don't need to take action, I have promised Fatty that I will avenge him. Just look at my ability. Xiao Wu, are you sure? That Bi Yula is a 4-ring soul sect, and he is also a control-type soul master. His attributes are just right to restrain you. Tang San worriedly asked at the side. Don't worry, third brother, if you dare to hit my brother, he will not be able to take care of himself if I don't hit him. Xiao Wu said with confidence. Xiao Wu, you are so kind. How about I repay you with my love for you? Seeing Xiao Wu's loyalty, Ma Hongjun couldn't help but be deeply moved. The depression in his heart dissipated a bit, and his tone became more expressive. Always vulgar. Pa, a big hand covered Ma Hongjun's head, and Qi Ling's voice came from behind Ma Hongjun. Fat man, who are you going to commit your life to? Ah, it hurts, Boss Qi, I was wrong. Qi Ling exerted a little force, Ma Hongjun screamed for help in pain, and everyone else laughed that he deserved it. Only Xiao Wu's face turned red, and she felt extremely sweet in her heart. Several people took advantage of the darkness and rushed to where Ma Hongjun was talking about. He soon found an unhappy figure. He was in his 40s and could only be described as sluggish and slovenly. He wore a pair of ripped pants, a pair of flip-flops, and a smile on his face. That disgusting smile doesn't look like a soul sect. That's him. After receiving confirmation from Ma Hongjun, Xiao Wu walked out confidently. Okay, just watch and see how my mighty and domineering sister Xiao Wu avenges the fat man. Bi Yula had just come out of the chicken coop, feeling full of satisfaction. As he was walking triumphantly on the street, he was suddenly hit by someone, his feet weakened, and he fell to the ground. Who is it? Who doesn't have eyesight, dares to hit you, Uncle B. Eula? Do you want to die? B. Eula covered his butt and looked at the perpetrator angrily. With this look, he could no longer move away from his eyes. Today, Xiao Wu was wearing a pair of brown trousers and a simple white top, which perfectly highlighted her figure, especially her big, watery eyes, which made people unable to extricate themselves. Oh, uncle, I'm sorry, you didn't get hurt from the fall, did you? Xiao Wu said with a pitiful look. Being called out by Xiao Wu, B. Eula felt like he was about to ascend to heaven. It was even more exciting than the intense exercise just now. After coughing, B. Eula quickly put away his vulgar appearance, straightened his chest, put on a serious posture, and said, "It's nothing, little sister, just be careful next time and don't hurt yourself." Quote, "Well, uncle, you are so kind. Not only did you not blame me, but you also worried about my safety. You are such a good person." Xiao Wu blinked her big beautiful eyes and said to B. Eula. B. Eula was secretly happy in his heart, and continued to say calmly on the surface, "Haha, little sister, you are still coming out alone so late, aren't you afraid of meeting bad people? Let uncle protect you." "Okay, uncle, you have to protect me well," Xiao Wu said with a sweet smile. Seeing B. Eula being deceived by Xiao Wu, Oscar in the distance rubbed his eyes and said, "Oh my god, is this really Xiao Wu? I have never seen Xiao Wu look like this, ah." Ma Hongjun also said, "Xiao Wu's acting skills are definitely the best I've ever seen. It's so perfect. If I'm not happy, I'll be fooled too. Will it be dangerous if Xiao Wu leaves with B. Eula like this?" Dai Mubai asked worriedly. "Okay, the one who will be in danger should be B. Eula. Have you forgotten that Xiao Wu can throw at the 8th level?" Qi Ling said. Hearing what Qi Ling said, several people suddenly remembered the domineering 8th-level throw that Xiao Wu used when fighting Qi Ling before. It was a trick that even Qi Ling could hardly stand, and its power was extraordinary. The subsequent plot unfolded exactly as Qi Ling had imagined. B. Eula, who was carried away by the sexual words, easily fell under Xiao Wu's charm, and then his neck tightened, and before he could summon his martial spirit, he was already flying up to heaven. If B. Eula was a power soul master, he could still resist a little, but he happened to be a control soul master, and his body had been hollowed out just now. At this time, his steps were weak and he was unable to stop it at all. I saw B. Eula flying high into the air under Xiao Wu's control. When he reached the highest point, it was when Xiao Wu caught up with him. He grabbed B. Euli's waist with both hands, like a cannonball. Shoot him to the ground. With just one blow, all of B. Euli's defenses had been shattered, most of the bones in his body were broken, and he was on the verge of coma. Such a terrifying throwing technique lasted 6 times, 3 times in the front and 3 times in the back. B. Eula was hit so hard that his whole body's bones kept making strange noises, and his whole body seemed to have turned into dough and lost its fixed shape. Holy shit, holy shit. The eyes of Dai Mubai and others moved with B. Euli's every takeoff and landing, and at the same time they kept exclaiming, "Such a terrifying throwing skill, it's simply not something humans can bear." And everyone thought again, isn't there someone who has endured such handsome skills? So they all looked at Qi Ling in unison. How abnormal was this guy's defense? After Xiao Wu completed the 8th-stage throw, B. Yuli's body was smashed to the ground in an extremely weird posture. Apart from twitching, he could no longer react in any other way. I haven't had such a good fall in a long time. It's so enjoyable. Xiao Wu wiped the sweat from his forehead. Looking back, he found that everyone was looking at him with a strange look. He couldn't help but wonder, what's wrong with you guys, why are you looking at me like that? No, we are just sighing. Sister Xiao Wu is really powerful and domineering, with extraordinary momentum. Ma Hongjun said hurriedly. I hate it, I'm a girl, I don't need such praise. Xiao Wu said dissatisfied. After solving the problem, the goal of several people was achieved, so they walked back together. Halfway through, Tang San suddenly said thoughtfully, isn't it wrong for us to do this? What's wrong, mistress, are you soft-hearted? For such scum, our focus is to eliminate harm for the people. Dai Mubai said. Tang San shook his head and said, I mean, if we cut the grass without eradicating the roots, they will grow again with the spring breeze. If we don't completely deal with them, they will take revenge sooner or later in the future. Only then did everyone understand that what Tang San meant was that Bu Hu should be completely eliminated and future troubles should be eliminated forever, but after all, they were still teenagers, let alone killing people, they had never even thought about it. Forget it, Shaosan, you don't even think about Boss Chi. Well, where is Boss Chi? Ma Hongjun said strangely, and everyone realized that Qi Ling was missing. In an alley in Soto City, unable to move, I finally waited until my two best friends said in a half-dead voice, "Old Goose, Tianya, I am here." Unhappy. Are you unhappy? How did you become like this? The two people said in surprise, not daring to detail how they could become like this when they were so unhappy not long ago. But Beulah did not answer them, but kept saying viciously, "I want revenge, I want to make their lives worse than death, and regret coming to this world." Don't be excited or unhappy. You need to recover from your injuries first. After you recover from your injuries, we will go to settle the score with your enemy," said the two people. "I'm afraid you won't have this chance." Just as the three of them were planning how to take revenge, a figure suddenly came from the entrance of the alley, startling the three of them. "Who? Tell me your name," Tianya asked cautiously, summoning his martial soul at the same time. A green knife appeared in his hand, with 5 soul rings hovering on it. It was a weapon, the Soul King of Souls. "You don't need to know my name, because you don't need it at all," Qi Ling said, "you just need to know that the reason why you have such an end is entirely your own fault. HMPH, you want my life? Then let's see if you have the ability." Tianya waved the knife in his hand and said to Qi Ling menacingly. "I'll let you know, right away," Qi Ling said with a casual smile. After a while, Qi Ling walked out of the alley alone and gently wiped the blood on his face. "We must go back quickly, otherwise we will miss dinner." A 7-day holiday is a rare break for everyone. After all, 3 months of high-intensity training is not an easy task for anyone. During these 7 days, Qi Ling assigned Zhu Zuqing a task: spend at least half a day shopping with Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu. Zhu Zuqing was very confused about Qi Ling's task and didn't understand the meaning of it. Qi Ling just smiled and said back to her, "Too much is not enough, too much is not enough." In this way, 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. Master Yu Shaogang once again called everyone together and said to them, "More than 3 months have passed since I came to teach you. In these 3 months, you have all done a good job. I have laid a good physical foundation for becoming an excellent soul master. But these alone are not enough. Without the baptism of battle, you will never be able to truly grow." The master paused and continued, "So starting today, our training enters the 2nd stage." Hearing that the training was over and entering the 2nd stage, everyone couldn't help but become nervous. They had seen enough of the master's methods. They didn't know what was waiting for them in the 2nd stage. "The mission of the 2nd phase is very simple. I heard that you have already been to the Great Soul Fighting Arena, where our 2nd phase of training will be carried out. There is no time limit for this training. When will you get the Silver Soul Fighting Badge? When will the training end?" Then the master looked at Qi Ling and said, "Of course, in order to gain points as quickly as possible, in addition to participating in single matches and second team matches every day, you must also participate in team battles to gain points for team battles." However, Qi Ling not allowed to fight. Ma Hongjun and Oscar were very happy when they heard that there was a team battle. After all, as long as Qi Ling was there, didn't this mean giving themselves points? But when he heard that Qi Ling was not allowed to fight, he immediately lost his temper and said, "What? Master, why don't you let Boss Qi fight? If Qi Ling is allowed to fight, will any of you still fight seriously?" The master glanced at Ma Hongjun and Oscar angrily. "How can a game that you cannot lose bring any progress to you? Only a game with truly no retreat can promote progress. As you grow up, your Boss Qi cannot stay with you forever." When everyone heard this, they immediately felt that it made sense. After all, if Qi Ling was really on the court, they would definitely rely on Qi Ling habitually, which would not be conducive to everyone's growth. Of course, in addition to this, I allow you to combine the fighting spirits of the 2nd team and the 2nd team at will, and everything is based on achieving victory. In addition, During the battle, you are not allowed to reveal your identity and age, and everything will be fought under a code name. After confirming that everyone understood, the master took everyone to Soto City. After first finding a hotel to stay, he called everyone together. How you participate in the spirit fight is up to you. You must bring these masks. You must wear masks when participating in the spirit fight, the master said, handing the 8 masks to several people. In addition, in order to better hide your identities, I have given each of you a nickname. You will use this nickname during the competition. You only need to explain it to the Great Soul Fighting Arena, and your real names will not appear on the broadcast. Inside, Oscar asked curiously, then what is our title? These are the nicknames I gave you. They basically summarize the characteristics of each of you. If you think there are more suitable ones, you can propose modifications, the master said and put a piece of paper on the table. After several people made their own decisions, everyone's nicknames were announced, namely, the Evil White Tiger Dai Mubai, the Thousand-Handed Shira Tang San, the Soft-Bone Charming Rabbit Xiao Wu, the 7-Treasure Glazed Ning Rongrong, the Ghost Civet Zhu Zuqing, the Evil Fire Phoenix Ma Hongjun. The sausage specializes in Oscar. At this time, Ma Hongjun said strangely, "Hey, master, why is there no nickname of Boss Chi in it? You guys probably know your Boss Chi very well, so I want to hear your opinions." The master smiled evilly. In the end, the nickname everyone agreed with the most was Chi Ling's. Chi Ling, you can't be opposed to. Chi Ling was stunned after hearing the master's words. Doesn't this mean that if a few people give him a weird nickname, he must also play with this name every day? But before he could protest, Ning Rongrong cheered, "Oh, I'll come first, I'll come first. Chi Ling bullies us every day, how about calling us a supervillain?" Chi Ling felt her eyebrows raised uncontrollably. "If I were a supervillain, how could I let you little girls go?" Ma Hongjun said, "Boss Chi is so powerful that no one can beat him. I think he will be called a super genius." Oscar agreed. "That's right. Otherwise, it would be great to call him a super master." It's over. The taste of these two people is hopeless. Chi Ling thought to himself that if he really called this name, he would have to deal with them both. In the end, Dai Mubai and Tang San's tastes were closer to those of normal people. Dai Mubai said, "Since we are giving Chi Ling a nickname, it naturally has to be more domineering. After all, he represents our Shrek's strongest fighting power. How about calling him the undefeated god of war?" Tang San pondered. "Invincible. This is indeed very suitable for the elder brother, but if you consider the twin martial arts of the elder brother, I think it is more suitable to change it to the undefeated demon god." Upon hearing this, several other people nodded in agreement. In the end, the invincible demon god passed with 6 votes. Only Ning Rongrong still insisted on his title of super villain. "Okay, if that's the case, then Chi Ling, your nickname is the undefeated demon god. You have to make full use of the characteristics of this nickname," the master said with a smile. Chi Ling said helplessly, "With such a nickname, I think you just want me to help you attract firepower, right? Who sees such an arrogant person and doesn't want to go up and beat him up? Hey, Boss Chi, what's the point? If we want to do it, we should be the most arrogant. No one is your opponent anyway, so what's the point of being a little arrogant?" Ma Hongjun said. The master also smiled and said, "Yes, Chi Ling, this title is what everyone expects of you. You are not allowed to refute it. In addition, you must also think of a team title to participate in the team competition. What are your opinions? As for the name of the team, I think it should be called Shrek 7 Monsters." Chi Ling said at this time, "Since we are all monsters, let's carry out the monsters to the end." "Huh, but Boss Chi, there are obviously 8 of us, why are we called Shrek 7 Monsters?" Ma Hongjun asked in confusion. "There are 8 Shrek 7 devils. Isn't this common sense?" Chi Ling said with a smile. "Well, that's right. In this way, it can also play a role in confusing the enemy." The master nodded and said, "Okay, then your team name will be called Shrek 7 Monsters." When night fell, everyone from Shrek arrived at the Soto Spirit Fighting Arena. A group of 11 people immediately attracted everyone's attention. After all, there were so many mysterious people wearing masks that no one could ignore. Everyone changed their registration names in the Great Soul Fighting Arena, and after registering in different time periods, they couldn't help but become nervous. After all, after so many days of training, everyone wanted to know whether they had become stronger. Qi Ling looked at the anxious looks of several people and couldn't help but laugh. What's wrong? Why do you look so worried? This is not like Shrek's style. Ma Hongjun sighed and said, the main reason is that I haven't played for 3 months and I don't know if I can do it. Fat man, men can't say no. You have to do it even if you don't. Qi Ling said with a smile, since you are all so nervous, let me give you a try. Look how I gave Shrek our first victory. Just when Qi Ling finished speaking, the big spirit fighting arena suddenly broadcast his fighting spirit information. The 13th fighting spirit arena, the next spirit fighting, the iron fighting spirit Qi Ling will fight against the golden fighting spirit Golden He. Please players on both sides get ready. After hearing the information from both sides of the battle, everyone couldn't help but feel surprised. Even Yu Xiaogang showed an unexpected look. After all, Jin Duhun could be said to be a strong man in the big fighting spirit field, not an ordinary character. And a newcomer like Qi Ling actually had to fight against Jin Duhun as soon as he arrived. No matter how you think about it, it is abnormal. It can only make people feel that this is a rigged game. Qi Ling was not surprised by this arrangement. After all, as a golden fighting soul, Jin He at least had certain privileges. Even if he could not control the outcome of the game, he still had the right to choose his opponent. I'm afraid that Jin He has already informed the organizer of the Great Soul Fighting Arena. Once he appears, he will immediately arrange a duel between 2 people. Such a combative match will undoubtedly be more enjoyable to watch, so there is no reason for the Great Soul Fighting Arena to do so, promise. This is really a pillow for sleepy people. I'll get on first. You have to watch carefully. Qi Ling said and walked towards the preparation area. Qi Ling, you must be careful. The martial spirit of Jin is not a trivial matter, so don't be careless. The master warned, every golden fighting spirit cannot be promoted by luck. There must be something of his own. Outstanding. Qi Ling waved his hand to indicate that he understood, but everyone could see that he didn't take the master's words to heart at all, because he really didn't feel any threat to Jin He. As a star in the Great Soul Fighting Arena, Jin He's popularity is naturally extremely high, and there are many female fans among them, cheering and screaming for him in the audience. Jin He was enjoying the treatment of this star while waiting for Qi Ling to come on stage. When he saw Qi Ling appear on the court wearing a mask, he couldn't help but sarcastically said, "Boy, why are you wearing a mask? Are you afraid that losing will be too ugly and embarrassing? Ha ha ha. I'm afraid I'll take off my mask and steal your limelight. After all, you're so ugly. It's not easy to have a few female fans, and it's not easy for me to win people's love." Qi Ling laughed. Jin He couldn't help but get furious after hearing this, but he couldn't refute it. To be fair, his appearance was not bad, but compared with Qi Ling, it was far behind. You sharp-tongued boy, let me see if you can still smile later. Jin He said viciously. After confirming the identities of both parties, the referee stepped aside and announced the start of the game. Amid even more enthusiastic cheers from the audience, Jin He summoned his martial spirit and possessed him. Yellow spotted tiger. Possessed. Yellow-brown fluff grew from Jin He's body and covered his whole body. At the same time, Jin He's muscles also expanded greatly, and his whole body seemed to have been beaten several times. As an attack-type martial spirit, the yellow-spotted tiger can indeed be regarded as a first-class martial spirit, but it is not astonishing. Even Dai Mubai's evil-eyed white tiger is much better than him. But Dai Mubai can only struggle in this big soul fighting arena and cannot win every battle, so if Jin He can get the golden fighting soul badge, there must be other weird things. Boy, you have to watch carefully and don't blink. Jin He jumped up and down slightly, seeming very excited, because as long as you blink, the game may be over. Then, Jin He rushed towards Qi Ling at an extremely unexpected speed, causing Qi Ling's face to change color slightly. This kind of speed is not the speed that a powerful attack-type soul master should have at all. Even among agility attack-type soul masters, Jin He's speed can be considered outstanding. But the yellow-spotted tiger martial spirit is undoubtedly of the power attack type. Seeing Qi Ling's surprised look, Jin He laughed with satisfaction and said, "Qi Ling, it's too early to be surprised. Take my move." Jin He said, grabbing Qi Ling's face with one claw. Qi Ling hurriedly reached out to block it, but the moment Jin He made contact, a strong electric current flowed through Qi Ling's body, causing his expression to change. This sudden electric current caused a flaw in Qi Ling's defense. As a result, he was knocked away by Jin He and almost flew out of the ring. He finally managed to stand firm. Thunder and lightning. Is it your soul skill? No, you probably haven't used soul skills yet. Qi Ling looked at Jin He, who was surrounded by lightning, and said, that means your martial soul is weird, you are a mutant martial spirit. Jin He said proudly. That's right, you have a good eye, you actually saw it right away. My martial spirit is not a simple yellow spotted tiger martial spirit, but a mutated martial spirit, and the direction of mutation is thunder. If the mutation direction of the mutated martial spirit is in the front direction, it will produce extremely powerful power just like Ma Hongjun's martial spirit. But if it is a negative mutation, like Master Yu Shaogang, you will get a useless martial soul. This Jin Yi's martial spirit has obviously undergone a positive mutation. It was originally just an ordinary attack type yellow spotted tiger, but it actually possesses the power of thunder and lightning, and it suddenly becomes more powerful. It not only solves the problem of the speed of attack type martial arts, but also allows Jin He to add the power of thunder and lightning to his attacks, greatly enhancing his lethality. Just imagine how difficult it would be to deal with a strong attack spirit with agility and speed. No wonder this Jin He can become a golden fighting spirit. And if his soul skills include defensive soul skills, then it would be a perfect combination of offense and defense, as well as strength and speed. HMPH. You know how powerful my thunder and lightning macular tiger is. And it's not just that. Let me show you what true despair is. Jin He said, and the purple soul ring on his body lit up. He activated his young soul ring skill. The third soul skill, Thunder Light Protective Barrier. A lightning-like protective barrier appeared around Jin Yi's body. Judging from the lightning and thunder, this protective barrier not only had a defensive function, but could also be used for defensive counterattack. Like Dai Mubai's White Tiger Protective Barrier, Jin Yi's Thunder Light Protective Barrier is also a defensive soul skill, and because in order to maximize his own lightning attributes, the one Jin He hunted should be a defensive type. A thunder attribute soul beast. In this way, not only because it is a 1,000-year soul ring, its defense is stronger than that of Dai Mubai, but it also has thunder and lightning attributes, so when it is attacked, it can naturally use thunder and lightning to fight back. Attack, defense, speed, Jin has all these conditions, and the development of various attributes is very comprehensive. If it were not for the lack of control methods, I am afraid it could maintain a quite terrifying winning streak. After all, if only one attribute stands out, you can make up for your weaknesses in a team competition, but if you want to shine in a single-player competition, you must excel in all aspects. HMPH, have you seen the decisive gap between us? With a low-level guy like you, I don't know how many people have been killed. Jin He folded his arms proudly and said, there are many people like you who thought they were invincible when they first became Soul Lord and did not recognize their own strength. They rashly challenged me, and they all ended up in a disastrous defeat. This is not a children's house, for the weak it's better to go back as soon as possible. Seeing that Jin He seemed to have won the victory, Qi Ling couldn't help but smile helplessly and said, mutated martial spirits are indeed rare. I happen to know a mutated martial spirit who is also talented and intelligent, but a little unwilling to make progress, still a little slovenly, and a little perverted. Ma Hongjun in the audience touched his head, frowned and said, who is this person that Boss Qi is talking about? How can there be such a lack of progress? Oscar on the side said, you must be talking about Boss Dai. Look how consistent these descriptions are. Dai Mubai couldn't bear it and said, you too, watch the game carefully. Don't be embarrassed if you don't have enough IQ. My martial spirit is an authentic traditional martial spirit. If you hadn't met me, your winning streak should have continued. Qi Ling continued, of course, it can only be because you haven't met me. If Jin Yi's Wuhun summarizes so many advantages and can be said to be a perfect match without any shortcomings, then Qi Ling's Wuhun can be summarized in only 2 words. Invincible, Dragon Emperor, possessed. Amidst the domineering dragon roar, the Dragon Emperor appeared again. Qi Ling put his hands on his hips casually and said to Jin He, don't say I bully you. You can attack me as much as you want until you are tired. The third soul skill, Golden Holy Dragon Armor. It's both a third soul skill and a defensive soul skill, but the visual effect of Qiling's golden holy dragon armor is much stronger than Jin Yi's lightning protection barrier. And more importantly, when Qiling used his third soul skill, the soul ring that emerged was actually black. The third soul ring was the 10,000-year soul ring, which immediately aroused heated discussion among the audience. At this time, Jin Yi was even more shocked. His eyes seemed to jump out of his sockets, and he said in disbelief, "How is this possible? Why do you also have a 10,000-year soul ring? This is not scientific at all. Don't worry about whether it's scientific or not. It's reasonable just because it exists. You'd better think about how to defeat me," Qiling said with his arms crossed. "Damn it, I don't believe it. I am a level 38 fighting soul master, but I can't even kill a mere level 31 soul master," Jin Yi said, putting down his hands, stretching out his sharp tiger claws, and the purple lightning flashed. Stop and hover above. Second soul skill, Thunder and Lightning Amplification. The first soul skill, Tiger's 100 Split Claws. It was originally just an ordinary attack type soul skill, but with the blessing of Jin Yi's own Thunder and Lightning attributes and the enhancement of his second soul skill, Thunder and Lightning Amplification, it became an indestructible and powerful attack. In addition to its own destructive power and penetrating power, the lightning attribute also gives Jin Yi the attribute of paralysis. Anyone hit by his attack will be attacked by lightning, causing physical paralysis, thereby reducing reaction times. The speed becomes slower. If the battle continues for a long time, Jin Yi doesn't even have to defeat the opponent directly. The accumulated damage from the lightning attribute will be too much for the opponent's muscles to bear, and he will eventually lose the ability to fight. Because of this move has brought him countless victories, and this time he performed it is no exception. This stinky brat will soon fall under his own claws. Taste my tiger claws and lightning. Jin Yi's swift attack directly hit Qiling, but the surprised expression on his face did not last even for a second before it turned into shock. I saw that my tiger claws, which were originally entangled with lightning, after hitting Qiling, no matter how I released the lightning, it seemed to be like a stone sinking into the sea, without any response. No opponent could withstand such an intensity of discharge in the past, but Qiling seemed not to feel anything, and even had a contemptuous smile on his lips. That's it. The extremely powerful attack you mentioned is just giving me an electrotherapy, Qiling said with a smile, but your electrotherapy is not strong enough. I can't feel it at all. This is impossible, you must be holding on for dear life. Jin Yi roared, attacking various parts of Qiling's body with both claws, trying to find Qiling's weaknesses. As an attribute, lightning is actually quite difficult to deal with, because it has no absolute means of defense. As long as it has a conductor, it can spread. But unfortunately, Qiling's golden holy dragon armor is not an ordinary armor, but his own soul skill. It has certain defensive capabilities against any attack, even thunder and lightning. Although it was impossible to completely defend, with Jin Yi's soul power, after being weakened by the golden holy dragon armor, the current transmitted to Qiling could really only be described as the level of electrotherapy. Seeing Jin Yi desperately trying to find out the flaws in the golden holy dragon armor, Qiling wanted to tell him that this armor had no flaws, because although it looked like it was made up of pieces of golden armor, in fact it is a complete whole, with no so-called defensive blind spots at all. After Jin Yi was panting and stopped attacking, Qiling asked with concern, "How are you? Are you tired? Do you want to take a rest and then fight again?" In fact, Jin Yi really needs to rest now. After all, although his lightning power is powerful, it also consumes a huge amount of soul power. He cannot sustain such a non-stop attack for too long. But if Qiling said this, that's not the case. Even if you were beaten, you would be fine, and you still ask me if the person who beat me is tired or if he needs a rest. Isn't this a huge insult? Damn it, kid, don't be arrogant, I will definitely kill you, Jin Yi said angrily. Qiling spread his hands helplessly and said, "Okay, you can do whatever you want, I'm invincible." Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.